Hi guys, my name is Bruno San, okay? And this is my first video in English in this channel. I am 25 years old and I am from Brazil. And I decided to record this video to tell my history. I was kicked out of a cult that advocates the death penalty for gays, and I want to share this history with you. I apologize because my English is not very good, but I think you will understand me. When I was 19 years old, I met a religious group that welcomed me at a time when I felt very alone. This group was part of a traditional church, but over time, this group became more and more radical, and this group ended up separating from this traditional church and becoming an independent cult. They taught horrible things. They said that homosexuals deserved the death penalty and that depression was a sin. Nowadays, this group has gone through some change and I believe they are not as radical as they used to be. But when I was part of this group, they were a theonomist group, arguing for the restoration of the Old Testament, following an American author named Rosas Rashidon. And they also defended that all mental disorders are sin, following the ideas of an American pastor named J. Adams. I am gay, and these teachings made me very bad, and I started having depressive crisis. I often thought about committing suicide, but I really liked the group. They were my only friends, and they were for me like a family, and I wanted to continue being part of it. But one day they told me that I was kicked out, that I couldn't go to group meetings anymore. They told me my depressive crises were sin and that I couldn't be part of religion anymore. They told me that I was an ungodly person. The pastor of the cult told the holy group to block me on social networks and social medias, and they told to the group never talk to me again. The group obeyed the pastor because everyone in the group followed this pastor blindly. He also said that I could no longer go to any church and that as a punishment I should remain at home in isolation. This worsened my depression. My depression got so severe that I started having psychotic crises. A psychotic crisis is an outbreak in which you lose contact with reality and you start to have disillusion and hallucinations. I felt so bad and guilty that in one of those outbreaks I thought I was Hitler. I felt like I was the worst person in the world. My family took me to the psychiatrist and he diagnosed me with schizophrenia. I also went to a psychologist and she said that I had depression. But the cult had told me that depression and other mental disorders were sin, that I could not seek treatment, and I still believed in them. How you can see, I had been brainwashed. I couldn't see that the group hurt me, and all I wanted was to get back to the group. I tried to ask the group to accept me back, but they insisted that as long as I had depressive crisis, I was insane and I could not be part of the group. I then asked if I could look for another church, and they said no. They said that God was angry with me. In one of my psychotic breaks, I went aimlessly down the street and I entered a stranger's house. It was a policeman's house. He thought I was a thief and he hit me. So I was taken to the hospital and I had to stay in the hospital for a while because of my outbreaks. I had to take heavy medication and over time take the medicines and be treated by a psychiatrist and a psychologist. Schizophrenia outbreaks stopped happening, but I still have to take the medicines. The religious group that kicked me out simply kept saying that all this was sin and that God was somehow punishing me. The bad thing was that I still believed in them, but after more than 2 or 3 years going to the psychologist, I started to understand what really had happened. I had been brainwashed by a cult, and what was done to me was very, very wrong. I also started to accept that I am gay and I stopped condemning myself for it. Thanks to that, today I am better. I still have to be accompanied by psychiatrists and psychologists, but now I lead a happy and normal life. Sometimes I still feel guilt, but I've learned that God loves me and accepts me for who I am. I ask you that are watching me to pray for me and for everyone who has suffered from being gay in Radical Church. I also ask you to like the video, comment, and share it with your friends. Goodbye.